What happens when your dream of retirement in the Philippines or another country doesn't turn out the way you expected? What do you do then? So in this video, I want to talk about retirement in the Philippines because that's where I am. And I've been thinking about this for the last couple of days. And if my life was different, if my circumstances were different, my life would be probably quite boring. So when I retired almost 6 months ago, prior to that, I had been thinking about retirement for, probably 3 or 4 years. I mean, seriously thinking about it. And I mentioned that in the book that I published. I wrote an autobiography or memoir. Is it autobiography or biography? I think it's autobiography. I wrote a memoir about my life in the oil and gas business and working in different countries, pretty much all over, on 4 continents anyway. And really the last sort of couple of years, I've been considering it more and more, looking at ways how I can make it happen. You know, I didn't want to wait until I was 67 to get my state pension. So that's why in this video I want to talk about the dream of retirement is constantly hanging over us, especially when it comes to early retirement. You know, everybody would like to retire early, or most people. So what happens when that dream that's been building up and building up and building up for years, when it finally happens, you don't have a dream anymore. What you have is reality. And how do you deal with that reality when it's not what you expected? Let me just put this hat on. I don't want to get burnt here. I'm sitting in the sun. And the reason I'm sitting here is because if I go inside, you know, you won't get a splendid view of the volcano behind me. Plus it can be quite dark. So I'll just quickly put this on, that's better. Keep the sun off my old head, the old napper. Right, yeah, so I had this dream hanging over me, and I kept thinking, when is enough money, when is the pot of money enough to see me until I get my state pension? Now, I've got 9 years to go before I get my state pension. So 9 years is a long time, and 9 years is a lot of time to spend money without earning any. So in my situation, if you've been a regular viewer of my videos, you'll know that I do have an online business that generates some money. Not a huge amount, but it's enough to chip in every month. And then I need to find the rest from my savings. So I did my calculations and I realised that I could make that work if I had X amount of money, okay? I knew what our budget would be each month here in the Philippines. And I basically just, that's a straight calculation. X amount of months, that's the budget, that's how much you need. So, but it's not really, this video is not really about the financial side of it. It's more about your expectations of retirement. So, when I was working, all these years, working away from home, I always had this dream that it didn't matter if I didn't have any hobbies. When I was retired, I wouldn't be working. That's the number one main thing. I wouldn't be working, number one. Anything else, just a sideshow. So, as long as I'm not working, I can do what I want. And if that's sit on my backside all day, I can do it. Now, here comes the reality. That is not the case, because I have a son who's autistic. He goes to a special school, and he goes Monday to Friday, and most times on a Saturday, to do makeup class. So I have responsibilities when it comes to him. So let me just give you a typical day in my life, right? And then I'll tell you what it would be like if certain things were not like that, okay? I get up in the morning, I'll go and do some work on my online business, my new online business. I've got a new one. The other one's pretty much a passive income. I don't have to do a lot. Very, very little do I have to do with that. And it generates pretty much the same every month. But I started a new online business. So I'll get up in the morning. It could be 4 in the morning, it could be 7 in the morning. It varies. It depends if I had a drink the night before. So I'll get up early. I'm always up early. And I'll do maybe 3 hours on my online business. Then I'll help to get the wee man ready for school. And then my wife might cook, or well, mainly at the weekends, but she'll be doing other things. She'll be doing the laundry, etc. Then we'll take him, usually the two of us take him in the car to school, and that's usually around 1 o'clock. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, he finishes at 3. So he's only in there for 2 hours. So it's not worth coming back to the house just to go back again. So we mess around, we go and have lunch, and we mess around in the mall, then we pick him up 2 hours later. Then I come back. I might do another hour or two on my new online business, or I might cook, or I might make a video. Rarely do I have any what I would call free time. And you might be sitting there thinking, well, I wouldn't like that. You might be right. But here's the thing. I was thinking about this, and I thought, if I wasn't doing this online business, if I wasn't taking the boy to school, etc., picking him up, what would I do? And the answer is, I would be stuck, because I can't just sit here on my 2 hands doing nothing. Now, some of you might say, well, you could get a hobby. You're right, but I have a hobby. It's working on my online business and making videos. I know I've cut them back recently to maybe 1 a week, but before that I was doing 2, sometimes 3 a week. So it just made me think, there'll be guys, maybe it's you, who have this same dream as me about early retirement, and they might come to the Philippines or Thailand or another country. They might be single, and they might be looking for a partner, or not, as the case may be. But if you come to the Philippines, you need to be careful. If you're single, and I'll tell you why, because there's one thing, well, there's more than one thing, but one big thing I miss living here in the province in Albay. And I was talking to this American guy last week, who is the new owner of one of the restaurants here. I mentioned it in the video. I said to him, one thing I miss is going to the bar, like a proper bar, on an evening, whether it's midweek or weekend. And when I say proper bar, I mean a bar where you can walk in and they've got beer on tap, they've got TV screens with sports on it. You know, a proper bar, traditional bar. Here, we don't have any. And my wife did mention to me that there was one recently opened, and I looked at the photos of it online, and it's like sofas with small tables, and they call it a resto bar. That's somewhere you go if you want to have a coffee or food. I'm talking about a real bar with sports music on, loud. And there's not, listen guys, that's not here. So in other provinces you might find that, I would doubt it. Maybe obviously if you go to Angeles City, yeah, you'll get it there. If you go to Cebu, I'm sure there's proper bars there. But when you're in the boonies, like I am, and I consider this the boonies, by the way, that word, the boonies is a take on the, what's the word again for the boondock? It's an American word, I think, or was it a Tagalog word? Boondock is a Tagalog word as well, but I think it might have came from when the Americans were here, and it was adopted into the Tagalog language. Anyway, I digress. In this province, I'm in the boonies, right? The boondocks, which means like wild mountains, by the way. There's not a lot here. You've got a few shopping malls, you've got restaurants, no bars. Now, there are a few small, what I would call sort of walk-in resto bars, but that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a traditional bar. I know there's a club here, I think it's in Legazpi, is it called Lady Jane Club? We passed it a few times, and there's like a neon sign outside with a picture of looks like a dancing girl. And I thought, that looks like a strip club. But apparently it's not. I think it's more like a nightclub. But I haven't bothered checking that out. Maybe 20 years ago I would have, but not my age. So just keep that in mind, guys. If you're coming here to the Philippines, think hard and long about where you want to be, what you want, because that will determine where you go. Thailand is completely different. Malaysia, completely different. Well, certainly in the bigger cities. You go to Thailand, you'll find bars all over the place. Is it something that, if I knew beforehand, would stop me coming here? No. It just means that I have to find alternative ways to either socialise or, what I'm doing at the moment is I'm just drinking at home when I want to have a glass of wine or whatever. I just drink at home. And I'm okay with that because I was doing that when I was in the Middle East anyway. But it would be nice to have a wee bar. That's all I'm saying. So if you're thinking to come to the Philippines or somewhere else in Southeast Asia, or maybe you're here already, it just, when I came here before, I've been coming here for more than 10 years, but recently, like in the last few years, when I came here, I would stay for a month. Certainly when we got our house, the house was built about 4 years ago. Anytime I came back from the Middle East, I would stay for a month. And I did that usually every 6 months, except during COVID, of course, which really screwed me up because I was stuck there in the Middle East for 2.5 years. Anyway, when I was here for a month, I thought I could do this permanently, just not do anything. But the thing is, we didn't just not do anything because sometimes we would go away on the weekend. We'd go to a beach resort, or we'd go to my wife's family's farm. But since I've been here this time, it's different because I'm living on a budget. When I was working, it was no issues. I didn't think twice about, going away for the weekend or whatever. But when you're on a budget, it's different. And the other thing is, Kian's got school. Our son, he has school. So it's difficult for him to get time off. Now, I'm not saying we couldn't organise that with the school, but I'm just saying I've been here almost 6 months. And this is another thing, by the way. I still don't have my visa yet, but another thing is I was starting to get irritated about this. When I applied for my visa, she said, no, it's a marriage visa I've applied for. And the girl in immigration said to me, when you get your marriage visa, it's a probation visa, probationary visa. You are not allowed to leave the Philippines for that 12 months. So it's a 12-month visa. After that, it's your resident visa. Then you can travel. And I said to her, well, what if there's an emergency? I've mentioned this before in other videos. And she said, well, we can't stop you from leaving. I don't know what that means, but anyway, I was thinking about this the other day. I've been waiting on my visa now for more than 5 months. That means if this drags on and on and on, I could be here for almost 2 years without being able to leave the country. And I thought, what a predicament to be in, This is because of all the delays with the visa. If it had only been 2 months at the beginning, then fair enough. But dragging on, month 5, soon it'll be month 6. And then on top of that, I've got another 12 months. Difficult. I just thought about it the other day and I thought, Christ, I won't be able to leave here for some time. I mean, not that it's an issue, but, my wife said she wanted to go to Thailand, to revisit Thailand because, she loves the food there and we haven't been for a few years. Well, a good few years, actually. And I said, yeah, we could do that. I know we're living on a budget, but, it would be a one-off. The problem is, I'm stuck. I can't go anywhere until I get over this marriage visa and then into the resident visa. Now, we can always travel in the Philippines. I said to her that, I said, we could go somewhere, even just for a few days. And we might well do that. Well, I just wanted to make this video because I thought about it, guys. I thought, there'll be some of you that'll come over here thinking that the grass is greener. And it's not always like that. Certainly, if I hadn't been so busy doing my other stuff, I would have been, dare I say it could be quite boring. I do read a lot, but that wouldn't be enough to keep me content. So I would definitely think about it. If you're easily bored, think about where you go. All right, sorry for rambling on too much, but hopefully you've got the gist of it. Cheers to now, bye.